So we're gonna show you how to do a fight scene in Anime Studio.
Fight!
This is my boy T the Rock. He's gonna be my sparring partner. I'm gonna show you how to do some moves, a little razzmatazz, and yeah, man, let's get started. Let me show you some of my moves first. So what you got, man? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. What you got? Ooh, was you not ready? My bad. No. Wait. So you can. I believe I can fly. Hey, you all right? I'm fine. Just don't touch me. Don't touch me. Just leave me alone. Just look away.
Finish him!
My face. Just start the tutorial. What about that? Just start it! Hey guys, this is going to be a tutorial on not just fighting, but kind of just how I move characters, like my characters, that are rigged in Anime Studio. If you're looking to make a fight scene that's kind of like anime, where there's a lot of camera spinning around and movements, that's more of frame-by-frame animation. You have to be really good at drawing, and you have to be really good at anatomy and camera angles, and it's very, very difficult to do. So there are other tutorials out there, so I would search for those frame-by-frame ones. But for this is going to be about rigged characters and how I made that fight scene at the beginning. So I'm going to start off by saying that these characters are actually, I'm going to start with nothing. They're rigged just like the character in my character creator tutorial, except I don't think I put targets on the feet. And you can check out how to do that on the AT Walker tutorial. The reason having targets on the feet are important, especially in this case, is for the jumping. If I go to my character, go in the time frame, and grab the pivot bone, you can see that it makes it jumping much easier to do because the legs are pointed towards that target. Oops, why is this spinning out? Oops. Now there is a problem, and this happens to quite a few people, is that the bone is bending the wrong way. If you're in the timeline, go ahead and just hit T and then just pull to the left or right, and it'll fix itself. Just if you have that problem. But like I said, making jumping movements and walking forward are much easier if you have targets. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just a jump cycle. So I'll go into the timeline a little bit, and I'm just going to click on the pivot bone, and then I'll go to frame 18, and I'm going to grab the pivot bone and just bend him down. Rotate this bone so it looks right. And then go a few more frames forward, and then pull the pivot bone until it's pulling away from the targets. And then we'll select the first frames that we created, frame 18, and copy and then paste those a little bit farther down the line. That way we just have a cycle of jumping up and down. There, and then you can, when he's in the air, you also can change the angle of the feet. I have the feet locked in a position. Let's see. Actually, let's do this. Let me go back. See let's see. Okay, the feet are facing to the right, and both of those, let me click on both of those. If we go to bone constraints, they have independent angles set to them, so they'll only change if I grab them and turn them. So I'm going to go to the first frame. I'll actually hit T and click on both of them. That way it just makes a keyframe so they're facing that way. I'll copy and paste to 37 again, and then go back to the middle one and just hit T, and I'll rotate both of those. Oops. select, turn that, and turn that. And see how they go back to facing to the right? That's because I copied and pasted from 18. So now we've got a little jumping action. Then we can go ahead and cycle these. So I'll grab the last frames and right click and go to cycle. And then when we want to change it so it cycles to the beginning of the jump, so we'll just click on here, we'll rotate the mouse wheel until it goes one frame past. Oops. To 18. We're putting it right in front of this keyframe because we don't want this frame and this frame to play together. If we put it back to the keyframe, it would look like it's stuttering because the last frame and the first frame are exactly the same. So if I hit play, you can see the character keeps jumping up and down continuously. Now, if you want to, now that you have this cycle, I can go ahead and grab my character and move them back and forth. So if I have him selected, and I'm going to select the transform the whole layer that the character is in, I'll click on the first frame of the cycle, go to the last one, and then move him over slightly. So now he's going to jump forward. See that? And I can keep and leave him there if I want to, and I can go anywhere in the timeline. And let's say I want to start him here and then have him jump backwards. I'll go to the last frame that he's landing on, move it over, and then he's jumping there. Now there's a new cycle also called additive cycle in Anime Studio 11, and what that does is, so I have him jumping backwards right there between what is it, 76 and 93. This new type of cycle acts as a way of keeping a position transition moving. So if I do a cycle on the backward movement, and again we can just relative cycle, I'm just typing in a random number just so it's a little shorter. Click relative to cycle, so you can see that the cycle has been pulled back here, and then I can just use my mouse wheel to adjust it to go right there, right before the keyframe. Okay, now that normally that's not going to do anything because this is pertaining to the position. But if I click additive cycle, what that's going to do is it's going to keep cycling the movement backwards. So even though there's nothing here on the timeline, if I hit play, he's going to keep hopping backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards, which is really, really handy if you want to do that. So you can, say you want him to hop back 3 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then I want him to stop. I'll just click on the frame, or I mean the character, the transform layer, and that'll make him stop. But since we're having the jump cycle still going, he'll stop and he'll just bounce there. So he'll hop once, twice, 3 times a lady, and then just keep hopping there. So that's just the first thing I wanted to show you is just how to do jump cycles and how to actually move them also. The additive cycle, I think it was just added in Anime Studio Pro 11, so you'll need that to do that. Otherwise you'll have to keep animating. You can still do that, but you'll just have to do that manually. Now the other thing that I wanted to show you is moving your character forward in a walk cycle without having to without making a traditional walk cycle where it's in place. And this one's going to kind of cover onion skinning. So I have my character here and I want to move him forward towards this character. I'm going to go to, I'm going to set the entire keyframe for the character. I'll Command A, hit Command A. This selects all of the bones, and then I'm going to hit Command F. And that creates a keyframe for every single bone that is has been selected. And then I'm going to go forward a little bit. I'm going to hit Z so I can grab my bones, and I'm going to move him forward like this. Kind of over his first foot, and then grab the target bone and move his leg forward like that. And make sure his knee's bending the correct way. So we got him stepping forward, and also, let me make sure this one, I'm going to pull that back just so it bends correctly. That's kind of snapping funny. Let's move this target bone down. See, his knee's not bending right. So we're going to have him step once, and then I'm going to move forward a little bit more, grab the pelvic bone, push him over a little bit over the foot, and then move this target here. Now that walk cycle looks really weird right now. This is just so I can get the movement over to the other character. So in between, okay, this is the starting position. We're going to use onion skinning, so I'm going to turn on onion skinning, and I'm going to move the time frame over to the second position right here, and I'm going to click on the timeline right here, and why can't I see it? Character. We should be able to see the onion skin. What's going on? Let me see here. Oh, it's being the onion skins. This is kind of good to know because I didn't actually know this. Because I have an image, a PNG on the background, it's hiding the onion skin, which is bizarre. I didn't know you couldn't see it with like that. But anyway, this is showing the very first position. So we know that he's stepping forward, and this foot, I have the bones colored so I know the left from the right. So the green side, the back side, that foot needs to stay in place. So we need to move over here, and we'll go ahead and grab the green leg and put his foot back into the very first position. I'll actually even move his pelvic bone down a little bit. Yeah, move his foot, just so his foot's matching in the same place so it doesn't move. So he steps once right there. And also, when your foot goes forward, it bends forward, or up also. So we'll go in between those. I'll grab that and just make his leg go up at a bent position so it looks like he's stepping. So he takes one step. Man, his leg is messed up. Let me hit T and rotate that correctly. There we go. So he's stepping once, and there's the halfway point. And then he's moving here. That's his second step. And our onion skin's a little bit off, so we'll just click that and click this one to erase it. So the onion skin is right over the halfway point. So let's see. So he steps once. And this foot's actually staying in the same place, so you don't have to worry about that. So we'll go halfway through here and lift the purple, or wait, which one's going up? The green. The back leg is going up the second time, so we'll grab that, bend that one. And then, yeah, there we go. And I think also, so he steps down. So in the halfway points, is that right? Somewhere, see, he looks like he's stomping. So we need to make it look like needs to be a little up and down movement. So I'm thinking right. Let me test this. I'm going to click on the pelvic bone and move him down, and then halfway point. Let's see. Looks like he's ducking. Let's see, where is that? Well, the other thing is too, his arms need to sway, so halfway. So if this leg is going forward, then it should be back in the halfway point. This one should be forward a little bit. And then they swing back this way. And I'm just putting a little bend in there, in the arms too. There is a point. I think they should be, I think in these halfway points, should be standing up. Let me see. A lot of tweaking to do. Sorry, I just wanted you to see how I'm actually going through the process too. Something's still not, I mean, the end looks a little better because he's standing up at the very end. I think it's because he's moving downward a little bit. Let me turn on onion skids one more time. Oh, it's already on. I'm just gonna go to this frame. I think part of the reason is his foot's moving down. Okay, I'm gonna go to this frame. I'm gonna grab this bone, pull him up a little bit. You see how his foot's moving a little bit right there? And then it goes down. It shouldn't go down there. This is a lot of tweaking, but I just trying to make it look right. That looks a little better. But you can see that's kind of how, as far as moving the character forward, it'd probably be a lot easier if I just rigged this character in the same way I did the AT-AT walker, because then the body would just move forward no matter what. So I might do that a little later. But that's good for now. I just wanted to bring the character closer to this guy so I can show you some other things. Ooh, this guy's leg is jacked up too. Let me grab that. Let me go to frame 1 and fix it. Frame 1, pull it that way. Actually, let's have him stand up a little taller. Oh, and the other thing, if you're making a character and you have it rigged the way that I do, you can change the character's height by just extending the bones. Like I usually do it in the chest. So just hit T and grab the top points of your bones and just pull them a little bit. And I'll pull that, and you can do the same thing with the arms. Oops. If I grab the point here and pull it just a tiny bit, you can do that with all of the points actually. So I'll make his legs a tiny bit longer, pull the targets down so he's not so bent up, and then you have a different size character, which is pretty easy to do, and they're still rigged pretty good. The other thing is you can see his arms kind of not in the correct position. If I go to frame 0 and hit this button right here, this is the offset bone tool. So once I grab that, I can actually grab these bones and just reposition them in the correct place if I need to do some fine tuning like that. So now it looks like he's more ready to go. So let's zoom in. So now we have two characters and they're different sizes. I guess that'll be my second tip or trick, is just to make a character different size. And now we'll show you some actual hits or impact, I guess. So we have the character here. I'm going to make my guy hit this guy. So I'm going to create keyframes for everything. So that, again, that's Command A, Command F, and keyframes for everything. And then I'll go forward a little bit, hit Z. I'll have my character bend down, have him get into fighting position. And then the way that I animate, a lot of people will just make a keyframe and then make another keyframe and just, you know, animate like that. But I like to use a lot of stop frames. So instead of it just going down and then punching, I have him go down. I'll copy that frame, paste it so he pauses, and then make another action. The reason I do this is so I can change the speed of anything. So if I want to make the punch faster, I can grab this last frame and put it really close. So, pow! Or move these together closer. And if you are doing something really fast, you don't need to put that kind of stutter in there. If you do want to do it like that, where he bends down and has more fluid motion, that's good too. If you notice, almost all of my cartoons, I'll always have that kind of pause in between movements. But for the fight scene, I suppose, actually, I did do that. I just put them closer and created those keyframes like that. So he's moving forward. Just gonna punch him in the face. And this foot would probably move forward a little bit. Oops. Let me go to here. I'll create a keyframe for the target bone, and then when he impacts, it'll lift it up. Now I have to make a keyframe for the foot because I'm going to bend it also, so I'll do that. Bam. And then we'll have him go back to a resting position. So I have that frame there. I'm just going to do a Command Alt and then F just to make sure everything's locked into place so things don't move funny. So now I'll make a position of him standing again. Turn this. Grab this bone, have him stand, and then go back into a kind of a slightly guarded stance. Bam. So he just pops him really quick. Just a little chin music right there. And then we have to also make the character react over here. So I'm gonna go to right here and choose my second character. And I'm on that keyframe where this character starts moving. So Command A, Command F, so he's got that. And then I'm gonna have him go into a guarded position a little bit. Not good enough though, because this is gonna get popped. And I'll have him bend down a little bit. So freeze frame, we'll have him hit Z and move him down a little bit. So he's accidentally leaning into it. And then to show an impact, you'll just tab over. I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard, and I'm just tabbing over, and he's going to get hit right, on that frame. So I'll make a freeze the frames, Command A, Command F. And then if the impact's hard, he's going to go flying back pretty fast. So you only go in a few frames. And I'll have his head jerk back. I'll have his body move back and extend his arms like he's been hit pretty hard. So it's going to pap. And it's also, he's going to move back, of course, because of the impact. So I'm going to grab his pelvic bone and move him back like that. So if we play it, and it's probably going to be, I think, even faster than that. So we're just going to make it like 2 frames in. He's going to move back like that. And then the way that I did this on the animation at the beginning, he's going to keep moving back, so he's going to stumble. So he gets hit like that. We'll grab his pelvic bone again and push him way back, and see his foot's automatically going to pull away. So we'll just grab that target and bend it up. And then keep going back. He's going to stumble back just a little bit more. He's going to try and gain his balance, so he's going to move his foot back. And then we'll grab the arms, have him flail a little bit from the hit. Then plant his foot down. Let's regain his balance. So on that last frame, we'll grab his pelvic bone and move it back also one more time. Like that. His leg's going to bend. And then we'll get him back into a standing position. So go down the time frame and, oops, hit Z and have him kind of get his balance back. I'm going to make his hands go. He's going to start gaining his balance and then standing back up. So we'll do, grab that bone, have him stand up, have his everything straighten out a little bit. Okay. Bow. So the illusion isn't really complete until you add, facial expressions and things like that. So let me go back to the beginning. And if you guys have seen my characters, I like to have the bodies separated because I like to do all the body animation first and then add the emotion to the character afterwards. So in my characters, you go into the face, and there's a completely different rig for the face. So I'll go to frame 1, and I have a few bones in here already. You've seen my eye rig before. Now I've added some more control bones just to the side of the face. So there's the eye position, which I have. There's 2 bones actually on the pupils, and I just move this outside of the head so it's easier to move. And if I grab that, it just controls the eyes. This is easier for me to just, position them wherever I want with 1 bone instead of using 2 for up and down and left and right. Because I want to be able to just grab it and say, if I want him to look at the dude's eyes, I'll just move it to where I think it looks right. And then I have blinking, which is just two frames, but it just makes it easier to animate. And then the eyebrow expression goes from angry to really happy. But that's just another extra control. And then I also have the mouths already rigged in a smart bone also. So that makes it really easy to do a whole bunch of talking and whatnot. So I have him, all I did was grab his eyes, and I have him looking at the other character. He walks up to him, and maybe I want him to blink in between. I'll just click on this bone, arrow over about 4 times, click on it again, oops, so it creates another keyframe, and then go back and then blink. The reason why I went up 4 is because it has the open position on that one and then the last one. So if I just go back and make him blink right there, just creates that blink. And I can actually grab the copy and paste those again wherever I want. So then he blinks a couple times right there. And we'll go to the other character. And sparring partner. Hold the right mouse button down to move my canvas over so I can see what's going on. And let's go back to frame 1. We'll go to him, grab the face. I'll change his eye position to look at that dude. And instead of using, I'm just going to grab the upper eyelids, which is this bone. Instead of using the blink or anything like that, I have them rigged like this, so I'll have him kind of have his eyes a little closed. Maybe we'll do like, just down a bit. Change his mouth expression so he's not super happy. Oops, he's not. Okay, so the eye position. There we go. Have him look at him like that. Have him blink. So I clicked on the blink. Go 4, back a couple, and the blink's done. I'll copy those, paste them. Maybe one more blink. So he's gonna get impact. Or he's going to get punched on the chin. So I'm going to have him just right a split second before he gets hit, he's going to see it. So I'm going to click on the eye position. Go a couple frames in. Right before he sees it, he's going to look down, so I'll grab the eye position. And he sees the fist. And he's also going to get surprised, so why isn't his mouths aren't moving? Uh-oh. Oh, that's because I haven't flipped. They're over here. So right before he sees it, he's gonna see the fist about to make contact. His mouth's gonna, he's gonna see it. And then as soon as he gets punched, as soon as his head starts moving, he's gonna close his eyes. So I'm gonna grab the blink. Oops. I'm going to click on it once, make a keyframe, and then this one is gonna close his eyes. He's also gonna change his eyebrow expression, so I'm gonna click on that, and it's gonna get popped like that. Boom. Oops, his mouth is open. Oh, I don't have it on step. So because my mouths are in a smartphone, if I don't put step on and I try and animate them, if I need this mouth and then this one, the next one, if I don't have step on, it's going to try and animate all the in-betweens. So you have to have step on. So his mouth is closed, and then when I change it to the O sound, boom. Then he gets knocked back. And then he recovers, so I'm going to change his mouth back to normal. Or we'll have him gritting. And he's going to open his eyes, so I'm going to click on the blink, go a few frames in, and open his eyes up. Then I'm also going to go back to that first keyframe before he opens his eyes and click on the eye position so they don't move or float, and then go to where he's opening them, and he's going to move them over to look at him like, man, I know you just didn't punch me in the face. Even though they're boxing, but you know. So he's like, what? And then when he stands up, we're gonna, so he's looking at him right here. We'll put the eye, we'll click on the eye position keyframe, and then when he stands up, it's gonna change a little bit to look into his eyes, like that. Boom. So there's a lot of things that go on with making the animation look more, not realistic, but just adds to the realism. And the other part is sound effects. So I'm going to go to where he gets punched, and it's right there, right on this frame. And I'll go to the add new layers, and you can see most of these are grayed out, but you can add audio wherever you need. So I'm going to go into the boxing tutorial. This is all my massive amount of files that I downloaded for stuff. Let's see. Let's find punch. I think this little punch is the one I want. I got some Street Fighter sounds, some Mortal Kombat sounds. So I'll just put that there. Yeah, that definitely adds more realism to the, or makes it look more authentic, or I don't know what the word is. It's playing slow because the I have so many layers and stuff. It just automatically slows down the audio. Okay. So, that's kind of all I really wanted to show you guys. It's not really a tutorial on a full fight scene. It's more of just some kind of techniques on movement as far as it goes with characters that are rigged. Oh, the other thing I can show you that I used just a little bit, one of the problems with interacting with two characters is, let me go forward just a little bit. I'm just going to make freeze the frames for both of them. And one of the problems with fighting and things like that is this character is on the top layer and this one's on the bottom. So if they're in close proximity with one another, it's really hard to animate. Like, you know, this looks okay, but say you want this character, the sparring partner, you want his arm to be on the front of this character, so they look like they're more parallel and 3D. Well, that doesn't look right. So you can do this with just one reference layer. I'm actually going to do the whole character just because he was created by flipping this one and changing him slightly. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this guy and put him on top. But I'm going to go inside of this character. I'm going to turn everything off except... Oh, wait. Let me go back. I don't want to do a duplication. I want to do a reference. And this is also new in Anime Studio 11. So you need to get 11 if you want to do this. So let's delete that. So the sparring partner is on the bottom. We want to make a reference. So we click on that. So there's a reference. And we'll drag him on top of the first character, and then we'll hide everything except the front hand and arm in the reference. And the reason I'm doing this, oops, I didn't want to hide the character. So now you can see that this arm, make sure you're on the actual sparring partner, or you know, the original and not the reference. If I click on the reference and grab his arm, now you see there's two. You don't want that. You want the movement to be exactly the same, so you need to be on the sparring partner. Now when I grab this arm, it's actually grabbing the reference also. So now, even though his head and body are behind this character, this arm is in front, so it looks more realistic. And then this let's see, sparring partner. We'll do the same with the my main character. So I'm going to make a reference character. I'm going to put this one on the very bottom. Hide everything except the backhands. So there's the backhand and arm over here. I'm going to hide everything else like that. And then on the actual character, the main character, I want to hide the back arm and hands. So that puts his arms, let me collapse all of this. So we only want to deal with the actual originals. So if I grab this character, now his arm looks like it's behind everybody. And then this hand is in between this dude, so it's like, you know, they could grapple. And this is how I would do, you know, hugging or interacting of characters. You can see that this arm is above everything. This character's front hand is below that, so you can, you know, pop him in the face. And this is just a way of layering your character's parts. So if I grab the partner, you can see his arms here, and it's looking like you can jab him on the this guy's left side of his body and whatnot. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I know this tutorial is already pretty long, but just some kind of basic things as far as interacting. I know I called this a fighting tutorial, but it's actually more of a movement and interaction between two characters. So those are just some techniques and tricks that you might want to use. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them below and I'll try and get back to you. Or I will get back to you if I see them. And that's it. So thanks for watching.